let's start our training. Element 6.3, load handling equipment. Load handling equipment. There are different types of load handling equipment such as lifts and hoist, cantilever hoist, cranes, tower crane, and mobile crane. A gantry crane is shown next. So these are the different types of load handling equipment. There is the overhead gantry crane. For the overhead gantry crane, I have made one separate video for the cranes also, overhead crane also, what are the hazards related to these cranes also. So those video I have put it in a very detailed way. In this one, in this chapter, I have included only those information which is required by NEBOSH only. But if you need more detailed information for the cranes related thing, you can go to my channel and there you will find the different types of cranes, hazards, risk, control measures, how to prevent the hazards and the risk, and what are the inspection requirements, what are the legal requirements. All these things you will get it there. So the load handling equipment, what are the hazards related to the load handling equipment? First one is overturning, overloading, collision, failure of load, loss of load. So these are the main hazards related to the load handling equipment. I haven't included all hazards because there are more than 20-30 hazards related to these cranes. And what are the safe operation? For the safe operation, what you have to do, first of all, safe system of work, which is required the planning also. Second, the capacity. The third one is the site conditions. The fourth one is the lift. And there are some other requirements also. You have to check the environment also. You have to do the physical inspection of your lifting equipments, and the crane should be certified from the third party and so on. So there are so many requirements related to the safe operation for the cranes. Safety factors, competency. First of all, the competency is very important. Competency for whom? Competency for the operator, driver, rigger, and the signalman. So all these persons should be properly competent and they should have the proper knowledge, experience, and training. The second one, we have the ground conditions. Before you start any lifting, first of all, you have to check the ground condition, where you're going to lift the load, where you're going to use the cranes or equipment. Level and grounded condition, you have to make sure that the ground is level properly. If it is not level, if the ground is very soft, what you can use the base plate. After that, bearing the load, UG voids or cellars. We have to check that that ground, how much load that can bear, whether the ground is very soft, and if it is muddy also, or it is the like soft mud. So all these things we have to check for the ground condition. After that, the capacity of the crane. What is the capacity of the crane? When you are checking the capacity of the crane and the load, we have to check them properly. Conditions and ability. What is the condition of the crane? Is crane properly checked, inspected, certified, third party certification is there or not? Structural integrity. We have to check the structure also. Is there any damage, torn, any if a defect is there or not? These things you need to check. After then, positioning the crane. When you are positioning the crane, you have to check that area clearance and sufficient room. Area clearance, when you are checking, you have to check the height also. The major hazards is related to the electrical hazards, and that can be very catastrophic. So that you have to check. First, the second one is proximity, OH services and structures, etc. You have to check the proximity, okay, where you have to use the crane. Maybe there are some buildings also, some other trees also, and the electrical poles also, what are the things are involved there, that you need to check. After then, you have to check the general public. The area where you're going to start the lifting operation, is that area properly barricaded or not? Unauthorized people should kept away from that area. If you are going to use the crane near the roads should be diverted also, and requirements related to the road safety should be properly placed on the place. Other construction activities, if they are going on, those also need to take the consider also. Then we have the adverse weather conditions. During the weather condition, what will happen when you will lift the load? If there is any heavy air, your load will swing. So that will cause the more hazards, and that can cause damages and accidents also. So you have to check the weather condition. wind speed also, temperature also, and the rain also. So these are the things you need to check for the adverse weather condition. So when you are checking the documents, what you have to check? You have to check the third-party inspection report, vehicle registration copy, license operator, the person who's going to lift the equipment, lift the load, the person who's going to use the crane, the license should be there. And the category also you need to check. What is the category of that license operator? Whether the license operator is certified to use that crane or not. Operator competence certificate, third party certificate. So that should be there. After that, safe load indicator. So a safe load indicator should be properly installed on the crane. All cranes shall be provided with an automatic safe load indicators with a visual warning to the crane operator and an audible warning to those in the vicinity. So if you are loading any load which is not safe and it is increasing the load, then it should be visible. Red light should be come up, and the sign also it should come up. So these are the things need to be used for the safe load indicators. SLI computer, safe load indicator computer, safe load indicator panel, and boom bridge. So this is the computer which will show you the different uh, categories here. After that, lifting chart. This is the lifting chart that we have to use, and it should be there on the crane also. So you can see here, it will show you the different distance, 10.65 meter, 18.2 meter, and 23.5 meter, and 32.67, 40 meter. So this is the one. So this way you have to use it, and you have to check the lifting chart. These are the lifting accessories that we have to use when we are using the lifting equipment. We are using the cranes also. These are the things we have to check. There is the U-bolt, there is the saddle, and 6x rope diameter. So all these things need to be checked properly. There should not be any damage, any tear or torn. So these are the things need to be checked properly. So if you will not lift the equipment properly, if you will not use the crane properly, what will happen? So you can see here, this truck is not properly placed in the area. So it is tilted, and this truck is lifting a car from the river or any pond. So is lifting. So you can see here, it is already bent. So when you are lifting here, and it's need to go very down here and overreach also. So what will happen? Now it's due to the instability, it's also the crane also, a truck crane also fall down. So that's why whenever we are using any lifting equipments, we need to be very careful. So as you know that I have told you that you can go back to my videos. In there I have uploaded uh, 2 or 3 videos related to the crane safety also, overhead crane safety, gantry crane, and certain other cranes also, truck mounted cranes and other cranes also. I have uploaded the videos, and that videos is in a very detailed way that will give you the proper information, proper knowledge about the crane safety. Okay. These are the main precautions and the control measures that we have to keep in mind whenever we are using any lifting equipment, whenever we are using the cranes. First of all, planning of lifting operations. Planning is very important whenever we are doing any lifting operation. A strong, stable, and suitable equipment required. So the equipment which you're going to use for the lifting operation, first of all, you have to make sure that they are strong, they are stable, and suitable for equipment for the load that you're going to lift. After that, competent operator and riggers. The operators and the riggers should be competent. How you will check their competency? First of all, you can check their knowledge, you can check their experience, you can check their training certificates, and you can ask the question also. You can do the interview with them physically, and you can ask them how to use this thing. You can show them what are the different things related to the crane, so they will answer these things. Pre-use checks. Before you start to use the crane, you can check them by inspection. After that, you have to check the ground conditions also. When you are checking the ground condition, it should be stable, it should be even also. Ground should not be soft, and You have to check, use the base plate also if you have to use it. Positioning of the crane, outriggers fully extended. Whenever you are using the crane, you have to make sure that outriggers are fully extended. If they are not extended fully, do not start to the lifting operation. Enough room to avoid collision hazards and overhead hazards. So the overhead hazards, we have the electrical hazards, we have the buildings also, overhead pull also, and we have the trees also. So these are the overhead hazards should be identified before starting any lifting operation. Safe walking load. Safe walking load should be identified and it should be properly placed on the cranes also, and the person who is doing the lifting operation and the lifting planner should check these things properly. Safety devices and components, safe SLI and ASLI load radius indicators, audible and visible alarms. These are the safety devices should be there. Entry restricted and controlled. Where you are going to do the lifting operation, that area should be properly barricaded. Unauthorized people should not allowed in that area, and the people should be properly controlled, and the vehicle should be controlled also and diverted also. Suitable lifting tackles like chains, slings, wire ropes, and shackles, etc. should be available there, and these are the lifting tackles should be properly inspected and third party certified also, and we need to make sure that they are not defect. And the last but not the least, it is ITIS, which is information that need to provide it to all the worker who is involved in the lifting operation. Training also need to provide to all the workers involved in the lifting operation, and information, training, and then we have the instruction, properly instructed. And the last, we have the supervision. So the lifting operation properly supervised, employees also need to be properly supervised. These are the main requirement, precautions, and control measures related to the lifting operation. So thank you so much for your support. That's all